Thank you.
First plan change.
Just like that.
Well done.
Item 9, the proposed plan change on Ferrymead transition line. Welcome. I'll get you to give an overview of this report, please. Then.
Good morning. So the background behind this plan change is that during the district plan review, the National Grid buffer corridors were established in all zones which were traversed by the National Grid transmission lines. The buffer was unintentionally left out of the commercial core zone in Ferrymead, as this area had recently been rezoned to commercial core. So the proposed rules will be consistent with those in other zones traversed by National Grid transmission lines. Sensitive activities and buildings within 12 metres of the centre line of the National Grid transmission lines will be restricted, along with fences within 5 metres of a support structure. The reasons for the proposed rules. The proposed rules will give effect to the National Policy Statement on Electricity Transmission, which requires local authorities to consult with the operator of the National Grid to identify any appropriate buffer corridor within which it can be expected that sensitive activities will generally not be provided for in plans or given resource consent. The proposal will protect Transpower's ability to operate, maintain, upgrade and develop the lines if necessary. It will also enable reverse sensitivity effects and effects on people's health and safety associated with activities in close proximity of the transmission lines to be managed appropriately.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Templeton?
Thanks so much. I mean, this completely makes sense. I just want to check, is there any, do we know if there are any businesses or other activities currently there or planned in the near future that might clash with the intent of this?
So, based on our surveys of the existing land use, there's currently development under the lines, might to 10 mega, as well as 5, possibly 6 retail units. And so, at the present time, based on those surveys, there's no sensitive activities in that transmission corridor.
Great.
That's obviously these rules would impose restrictions on the use of those units, but at the present time, those activities are not affected.
Great, thank you.
Melanie?
My question's around the notification, and I understand sort of the reasoning behind the limited notification. I was just wondering if would it be likely that anyone would be against this in any case, whether it was limited or full notifying?
There's a risk that the property owners of the units feel it's unnecessary as a restriction on the use of the units. We've sought to engage with those property owners as part of the process up to notification, but following notification, obviously those parties have an opportunity to make a submission. The party that we have heard from, there's been no concerns raised. So it's difficult to say, but and there's always a risk, but we, based on the current use, the existing activities are not adversely affected by these rules. It would be if they proposed a change of use to a sensitive activity that they would be affected.
Okay.
Do we have a mover for this? Councillor Galloway, seconder. Tim? All right, any discussion? All those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried.